What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got things coming out in Fulton County, Georgia with Fani Willis. Seems like she's dealing with big media now, going to extreme lengths to defame Trump, and smear his name in the public's eye. She's now leaked. I can't even believe I'm saying this. She's leaked the case video of Sidney Powell's testimony, one of the co-defendants in the racketeering case, who has took a plea bargain out. And she's got basically she's free as long as she testifies against Trump. And of course, these testimonies are usually off, on the record, they're on camera, but the tape doesn't usually go out to the public. But of course, this tape was leaked, in order to try to, sway the public and make Trump look a little bit bad. I'm excited to see what exactly Sidney Powell detailed in these tapes that were leaked. So we're gonna hop straight into it. This one coming from Doug in Exile. Yo, big shouts to him. Definitely gonna show him some love and support. My boy Doug in Exile, y'all. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button before we even get into it. Hit that like button, y'all. It don't cost a thing. Hit that like button for me. And also hit that subscribe button if you guys have not already done so, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Yo, let's get into it, y'all. Thank you.
You're being played. That's the media and the Democrat Party in collusion. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug Tenaple. This is where the happy people are. I've told you the timing on this stuff is everything. The timing is the proof. Now, usually when news is dropped that they want to bury, they release it on a Friday. That way the whole weekend comes out and everyone forgets. But news that you intend to run with and stick, you release on a Monday. And yesterday was Monday, and they leaked the video of Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis's testimony.
Breaking news, ABC News obtaining videos connected to the first plea deals in the Fulton County 2020 election interference case. And these are something to see.
This is deliberate. This is by Fani Willis. This is why Trump went after Jack Smith when they tried to censor him, and also in New York, because they want to shut Trump down and they want to leak information to control you because you're being played. Headline: ex-Trump allies detail efforts to overturn election in Georgia plea videos. That's one way of putting it. Here's another way of putting it. Some of the details from the videos were first reported Monday by ABC News. And yet here's another way of putting it. Trump is the subject of the song Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell are singing to Fani Willis. Leaked proffer tapes disclosed. These tapes were leaked. They shut down Trump's voice and they leaked the narrative they want you to have. The way ABC News put it is they just obtained it. They didn't say how they obtained it. It was obtained because Fani Willis does not have court discipline. She is leaking. This is politicized. And I would say, you know what we should do to fix this? We need a district attorney. Oh, wait, the district attorney is Fani Willis. Here's some of the leaked video of Sidney Powell's testimony.
Okay, so he continued to be interested in the election machine frauds and Dominion specifically at that point.
Who, the president?
The president.
Yeah, I would say he was interested in it all along.
Okay, so even though there's that reporting that I think a month before he had muted and said, this is crazy, like he never told you, like, this is crazy, stop giving me this information.
No.
Remember, I'm going from the point of view that it would be normal for Trump if he heard about election problems. He's the candidate. He should be the most interested. Notice this is from the Washington Post, because the Washington Post plays into this whole thing heavily at the end.
What sort of things was he saying in December 18th specifically?
Well, he knew all his instincts told him he had been defrauded, that the election was a big fraud.
And when you say his instincts, did he ever describe that in any way? Did he ever point to any kind of proof or evidence or anything he was getting from his other attorneys or experts?
Well, he talked about, seeing the vote totals roll backwards on the TV.
Meaning on election night.
Yeah.
All of us saw the election totals roll back on election night. And that's something that just, my only question is it normal to think something weird happened, or is it illegal?
You can,
And
you
if
can
you
ask
say
questions.
that looks like something wrong, and it may not be wrong, that's my position. I'm telling you, I don't know that something went wrong. I'm only saying, is it normal to look at election totals drop against you and toward your opponent on election night? Is it normal? And can you talk about it and have it still be legal in America?
The unbelievable spikes, how far ahead he was in different states at the time all the machines stopped counting, and how it should have been impossible to make up that sort of vote difference without some kind of shenanigans. Just general instincts that something wasn't right here.
Without commenting on if it's true or not, I can only say that a lot of America, a whole lot of us, see those vote totals move, and our sense was something was off that night. And now the question is it legal to think that? Or shall only one thought be allowed by our legal system in the United States government?
Not so much in the phone calls. It was mainly the first meeting where I probably talked about it more than anybody else did. And he was generally talking about how it was stolen from him. And then specifically December 18th.
Okay. And I think you had said before, his instincts were that he had lost, and if it got to the point where he felt he didn't lose or that he did not win, that he would back out or bow.
No, his instinct was he had won.
Right. And so, but you had said before, if he got to the point where the facts were telling him you've lost, he would then bow out. That was either what he said to you or the sense that you got.
Yeah, he said something very clearly to that effect.
Okay, but then on the 18th, the only real justification that he's giving you to why he's not bowing out is that his instincts tell him that he won.
That and the evidence that I'd showed him.
This is Sidney Powell's going to end up helping the defense, not the prosecution.
Because she said, like.
Trump said, it's important to remember this. Trump said if they come up with evidence that he lost, he will bow out. That is the most important statement in this thing. That is not negated by Trump nor his actions. So the media is trying to run with these headlines and try and make you feel weird for Trump saying, I think something went wrong. In the end, he did not act on it. He did leave the office. I just want to clarify that. The videos obtained by ABC News do not appear to depict Ellis and Powell's full proffer sessions, but rather appear to be excerpts that total nearly an hour and a half. At one point in the videos, prosecutors indicate that Powell in her session answered, quote, 3 hours of questions, unquote. This is all edited. This has been presented to you by Fani Willis and through the media. Okay. Wow. This is their worst evidence they have against him, is what they leaked. So this is selective. This is not fair. This is proof of politics at work that it got leaked, because if Trump leaked something like this, just imagine, he's being tried for supposedly sharing information on Mar-a-Lago documents. This is legal testimony locked behind DA Fani Willis's court, and it is out in the public for the media to run with. The audible portions of the Fulton recordings reviewed by the Post do not appear to directly implicate Trump. Okay, good. At one point in Powell's interview, she said Trump really believed he had won, a statement that could help the defense. But Powell also said that Giuliani spoke of a plan that could help the defense. But Powell also said that Giuliani spoke of a plan to gain access to voting equipment at a December 18th, 2020 meeting with Trump and others in the Oval Office.
Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani that you went to.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Why did she say it like that?
That's the one where Rudy got really ugly.
Okay.
Yep. And that went to foreign interference.
So how'd that meeting come about?
I think I thought I was going to go to the big meeting with the Congress people.
Okay.
But I wound up being pulled off into the little meeting with Mark and Phil and Rudy and Catherine Freeze.
Okay, what happened?
There was a big shouting match in which Rudy called me every name in the book, And
What? What
I
happened?
was the worst lawyer he'd ever seen in his life. There were no circumstances under which he'd work with me on anything. He called me a bitch and I don't know what all.
So Mark Meadows, he's the one that contacted you and said, "Hey, come."
I think so.
So even a few
Anything.
days after December 18th, the president's chief of staff is still reaching out to you about presumably the election.
If that was the 21st.
Okay.
This, I'm just putting here to show some of the infighting between Giuliani and Powell. It sounds like she was bringing in the idea of foreign interference. This is some of what Mike Lindell has covered also. And it sounds like Rudy Giuliani wanted to stick with a different line of interference that didn't involve that. And he was saying she was a terrible lawyer, for which, by the way, she has no experience in election law. Her experience is in fraud, and she talks about that later. Quote, the only salient and telling fact is that President Trump left the White House. This is Trump's defense attorneys giving a conclusion of all of this leaked material. I just thought I'd stick it in here. Quote, the only salient and telling fact is that President Trump left the White House on January 20th and returned to Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, Shadow said. Quote, if this is the nonsense line of inquiry being pursued, and this is the type of bogus, ridiculous, quote unquote, evidence Fani Willis intends to rely upon, it is one more reason this political travesty of a case must be dismissed. So he's saying the only facts you need to know is that Trump did not try to stay as long as possible and stay in the White House. At least by January 20th, he was out and he goes back to Mar-a-Lago, regardless of what he believes. The facts are he did not try to stay and take over. He left.
What was President Trump's reaction when, I guess, this cadre of advisors would say you lost?
It was like, well, they would say that and then they'd walk out and he'd go, see, this is what I deal with all the time.
So that's Sidney Powell saying, see, Trump believes he won. And he had his own people, his own lawyers were coming to him saying, you lost, you lost. He goes, this is what I got to deal with. Remember, their case does not hold for fraud. Fraud means you believe that you lost. And you'll see some headlines claiming that about Trump, that he did believe he lost. And so he was trying to defraud people. He's covered under the First Amendment, though, and that's what this case is about.
But this is a political indictment. This was a Biden indictment.
Yes, this is a political Biden indictment. And the final piece of evidence I want to show you is this is for a Fani Willis fundraiser just announced. And I want you to look at, so this, Fani Willis is raising money in Washington, D.C. This is from Georgia, okay? And the address where her fundraiser is being held is interesting. 1301 K Street, Northwest 1000 East Tower, Washington, D.C. That's the exact same address as the Washington Post. There it is, 1301 K Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C.
No way.
Their headline, ironically, is Democracy Dies in Darkness. No, democracy dies at the Washington Post.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Coming straight from Doug in Exile. Yo, big shouts to my guy, Doug. Definitely go show him some love. Going to be leaving the original video link down in the description box below. But yo, sounds like Fani Willis is definitely in big dealings with not only the Biden administration and Washington D.C. bigwigs, but now she's in bed with the Washington Post. Oh my goodness, she definitely directly leaked that video of Sidney Powell's case testimony straight to the Washington Post. It was chopped up and they cut out all the parts where she was basically, and they left out they left in most of the parts where it seems like, Trump where she was explaining like Trump said he would leave the office if they found evidence, that he actually lost. He didn't say he wanted to stay regardless. He didn't believe that he actually lost. He wanted to, he's allowed to ask questions too. I mean, that's the First Amendment right there. It's protected in First Amendment, freedom of speech. You're allowed to ask questions if you believe there is actually something fishy going on. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. It does make sense. Fani Willis has a clear motive now to smear Trump's name in the public's eye. If she can't get him, and she clearly can't get him in court, she's going to try to get him in the public's eye. We've seen CNN running with the headline, Trump or Sidney Powell, quote unquote, says Trump will not leave the office, even if he, felt like he lost or not. He said he was going to just hold power, and that's not true at all. He just asked questions because things didn't seem right when the voting machine stopped. And then all of a sudden, it was one way, and now it's a whole different, direction. The election went a whole different way in favor of Joe Biden. If I'm on the other end of that, I'm definitely going to ask some questions too. Definitely raise a couple red flags, you know what I mean? But let me know what you guys are thinking. Hop in the comment section. Definitely give me your thoughts on the whole Sidney Powell, the leak case video. I feel like, I don't know what's going to come from this, and I'm not sure, how the public is actually viewing this. Do you feel like most people are being able to see straight through this and analyze? Because the headlines are misleading with the actual case leak or video review. Like, I feel like what she said and the substance of her video or her testimony wasn't very incriminating of Trump at all. It sounded like Trump was just asking questions, and not looking to defraud anyone or make anyone do anything illegal for that matter. You know what I mean? But their headlines, CNN, Washington Post, their headlines are misleading. Definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys smash that like button for me, guys. It don't cost a thing. Hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next week.